How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Set 6, and yeah, we've done it, we're back. Rebirth is finished. I have climbed out of the cave that I've been hiding in, trying to avoid spoilers for the last 3 weeks, and whew, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. There is a hell of a lot of stuff to talk about. Today what I'm going to do is, I'm going to give like a spoiler-free review type video about it. I'm going to talk about the game, what I enjoyed, what I didn't enjoy, and then in the next few days we're going to do a video breaking down the ending. But for now, we're just going to talk about the game, so please hit the like button, subscribe for future content. We've seen massive growth on the channel over the last month or two, so I'm appreciative. Thank you to everybody, and let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Also, if you're a bit confused about Glenn, I have got a full series on the First Soldier that talks about Glenn and breaks down his story. So, you know, a lot of people have been checking that video out recently. Check it out. But yeah, like and subscribe. Let's get on with it. So we've got to start somewhere. And I suppose we'll start with the gameplay. And the gameplay very much felt like Final Fantasy VII Remake Plus. Everything that we had in Remake had been built upon and expanded upon to a point where I actually can't recall any complaints that I had about the gameplay at all. Maybe a few minor issues that maybe happened once or twice, but nothing consistent. Everything clicked immediately. It kind of took me back to Remake's combat systems, but the additions immediately worked. Now, I had already played the demo, obviously, and had a sneaky early preview of it at London Comic Con. And also, I've been playing Remake in the weeks leading up to Rebirth, so it was pretty fresh anyway, but everything just clicked. Now, one aspect of the gameplay that I neglected a bit was some of the synergy skills. Not the abilities, the skills, the one that you could just do when you were holding R1. The abilities were absolutely essential in a lot of fights, as the synergy abilities could stagger enemies where other things couldn't, and they were just really cool to use. Like, the Sweet and Sour Salvo is possibly still one of the best things in the game. It is absolutely amazing. But the skills, I didn't use as much. So I don't know if that means that they were a bit redundant, or if that's something that I need to work on. But yeah, I didn't use them that much. A lot of the characters got massive upgrades in combat. Some of the stuff that you can do in that game, like Yuffie's absolutely crazy. The Windstorm skill and some of the other skills that she's got are insane. Barrett's bonus round ability is broken. Aerith's Radiant Ward ability is broken. Cloud's Prime mode is insane. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that's been added into the combat. Characters have got more functionality. Like, it's just, the options are amazing. There's more materia out and about in the world for you to get, more combinations. You are still kind of limited on the materia that you get, but you get more of it than you got in Remake, so you're not stuck with one magnifying materia and one elemental materia. You at least get a little bit more, and it does make it much more enjoyable when you have got those options available. Gameplay wise, it was amazing. All round, loved it. Loved the combat, loved the gameplay. Everything felt like a step up from Remake. The way that you traverse the world, the chocobos that we get access to and their various individual abilities for world traversal and map traversal. Amazing. Just absolutely amazing. I was not prepared for this game to be as good as it was. I thought it was going to be good, and I thought it was going to be a step up from Remake, but I was nowhere near prepared for this. Like, it's absolutely insane. But anyway, let's keep moving. I don't want this to turn into a big 30-minute video. There's going to be plenty of them coming when we start diving into the actual story and breaking things down. But for now, we're just going to have a nice casual chat about the game, so let's keep moving. And the thing that we're going to move into is the music. Now, let's not be shocked that the music's amazing. Everyone expected the music to be amazing. Everyone knows what we get when we get a Final Fantasy, especially Final Fantasy VII with the music that's already established in the game. So, yeah. There were so many times where it just left me sat there stunned. Like, I was streaming it all on Twitch. I streamed pretty much the entire game on Twitch. And there are several moments where I'm just sat there wide-eyed, mouth open, just like, oh my god, this music. Oh my god. Simple little things like the life springs when you approach them and the music that plays the do-do-do. Like, that just caught me every single time. Every single time I went up to one of those life springs, I just had to stop for a second and just kind of absorb that moment. It was beautiful every single time. You had random bits of music that I didn't expect to be good as well, new stuff, like Kyrie's Mercenary theme. Oh my god. It's so catchy. It's such an annoying earworm, but it's brilliant. I love it. And Kyrie, just while we're on the subject of Kyrie annoyed me quite a bit in Remake. I thought she was brilliant in Rebirth. Like, they made her slightly more endearing and more fun. And yeah, I was very happy with that. So just randomly thought I'd touch on that here while we're talking about the music. But there was one bit of music that didn't really hit for me, and I've seen a lot of people saying they love it. And it was the Gongaga music. Like, the main music in Gongaga, it was a good piece of music, but for me it just doesn't feel like it fits in Final Fantasy VII. I don't know what it is, maybe it's just a me thing, it's probably just a me thing, these things usually are, but yeah, it just didn't work for me. Maybe this was because of other issues that I have with Gongaga, which we'll talk about later, but yeah, I didn't really enjoy the music that much for Gongaga, until a certain narrative point happens in Gongaga, won't talk about it, but a piece of music that's updated from the OG kicks in, if you know, you know, and genuinely, I got chills when it kicked in. I'm getting chills now talking about it and remembering it. That's insane. Wow. But yeah, like, literally gave me chills when that music came in. There's just so much perfect music in this game. So many moments where the music just amplifies what's happening. They've done such a good job. But yeah, Gongaga for me, Gongaga possibly has one of my most favourite pieces of music and my least favourite pieces of music in the same area. It's crazy. But let me know what you think about that. How did you feel about the music in Gongaga? And let me know what you thought about the area of Gongaga in general, because we'll be talking about that soon, trust me. But before we do that, let's talk about the side stuff briefly. And there's so much side content in this game, it's ludicrous. I've seen some people complaining about the amount of side content and like there's too many mini games more than anything. And I don't know if that's the case. It felt about right in a lot of cases for the mini games to be where they were. It definitely fits with the tone of the world and tone of the Final Fantasy VII universe in general that we've seen before. Some of the mini games are amazing. Some of them aren't the most fun. Some people have struggled with some of them. In general, we got through pretty much all of them without too much difficulty. There was one or two that tripped me up a couple of times, and again, I won't say which ones specifically, because some of them are like the proto-relic missions and stuff like that. If you know, you know. But yeah, in general, the amount of side content, the amount of things that you can go and do in this game, it's through the roof. It's insane, and it's all good quality as well. It is all good quality, in my opinion. The story missions that we get, like everyone knows about the Mr. Dolphin thing, that's amazing. But we also get so many more moments like that where a minigame just gets woven into the narrative perfectly. And it's just so masterfully done. It really is. Like, the craft that's gone into the world of Rebirth is amazing. But if we're going to talk about minigames and side stuff, we have to talk about Queen's Blood. Like, Chocobo Racing's amazing. The games in the Wonderment Square and the Speed Square and everything like that in the Gold Saucer, all amazing. Some of the smaller minigames that we play as we're going through the game, the narrative ones, some of them are amazing, some of them are okay. But the king of side stuff / minigames in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has to be Queen's Blood. I mean, let's be fair, it possibly dethrones Triple Triad as the greatest minigame in a Final Fantasy. I think the thing that might keep Triple Triad slightly ahead is the fact that Triple Triad was so useful in-game. The things that you did in Triple Triad directly impacted your ability, your strength, your party in Final Fantasy VIII. Whereas in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Queen's Blood, while it does have its own story, doesn't really impact on your characters and your build and things like that. Everything that happens is pretty much self-contained within Queen's Blood. So that's possibly the thing that keeps Triple Triad away. But Queen's Blood is so tactical. There are so many options, so much variety that you can do, so much content for it as well. Like, there's a lot of games of Queen's Blood that you can go out there and play. There's challenges that you can go out there and play. Costa del Sol has some challenges there. The Gold Saucer has some challenges. And try the Nightmare one. Let me know if you've beat the Nightmare one. We cleared it last night. Oh my god. If you know, you know. Oh my god. That was a difficult game of cards. Real difficult. But yeah, Queen's Blood's insane. And there is going to be a video in the future where we break down the Queen's Blood narrative as it is, because there is the possibility that it does connect with the main story narrative, or at least the lore of the world, in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So we're definitely going to look into that. But yeah, side stuff, mini-games, the side quests that we do and the way that like a specific character will come on those quests with us and we'll gain affinity with those characters and we'll get a peek into their backstory through doing some of these side quests. It's just all amazing. Like, again, the craft that has gone into this game, it's on a different level. It really is. It's so good. This should be the template for Final Fantasy going forwards. But that's something that we'll talk about a little bit later on. Let's keep moving, and we're going to move on to the areas in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because, again, not all areas are created equal. Some of them were amazing, and in fairness, I would say most of them were amazing and did pretty much exactly what they needed to do. The Corel area was a pretty big standout for me. I really enjoyed the Corel area, and the Nebel area, really enjoyed that. They're probably my two big standout areas. But I did say that we were going to talk about Gongaga earlier, and we're going to talk about Gongaga. But first I want to preface this by saying the story events in Gongaga, perfectly fine. I actually really enjoyable, the story events in Gongaga. The side quest not so much. Goddamn chickens. But the story in Gongaga was fine. It was the area itself that I didn't really enjoy. It's a pain to navigate. It's a maze. It's everything that you don't want an area to be in my mind. And, like, it took me days to work through Gongaga just because a lot of that time was spent trying to figure out how I get to certain things. And that was a bit, yeah. I didn't really enjoy that much. Gongaga was a dip for me. Now, it may be that because it's in the middle of the game kind of thing, and you've already put, like, by that point I think I'd already put like 30, 40 hours in, and there was at least another 40 hours to come. Maybe I was feeling a little bit of fatigue at that point, but if that's the case, the area definitely didn't help things. Whereas when I got to, say, the Cosmo area, the Nebel area, everything was fine. It was just the Gongaga area. Didn't really enjoy it. And that may be why the music didn't resonate with me for the Gongaga area as much as it did with other people, because I didn't enjoy the area itself. Or maybe the music impacted the area. Maybe if there'd have been a better piece of music, I'd have enjoyed it more. I'd have been more willing to put up with it. I don't know. But Gongaga was rough, in my opinion. Gongaga was pretty rough. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. What was your favourite area of the game? Out of the main areas, including the ocean as well, the Meridian Ocean, what was your favourite area in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? But I suppose we better get round to it, hadn't we? Let's talk about the ending a little bit. And again, no spoilers. Not even in the footage. No spoilers. That's coming in the next video. The next video is going to be all of the spoilers. But the ending of Rebirth continues the narrative in a way that a lot of us were expecting. There have been a fair few twists and turns and surprises thrown in there to keep everybody on their toes. But as expected, we're left with more questions after the ending. And like I say, the next video is definitely going to begin the process of breaking apart the story and trying to put the pieces together in the right order. But as an ending, I thought it was brilliant. It answered a few questions that we had in Remake, but then it left us with literally dozens more. Meaning that the hype and speculation and the theory crafting and the conversation going into Part 3, it's probably going to be off the charts. It's probably going to be even more than there was in Remake. As I said in a lot of the videos building up to Rebirth, Remake was the prequel. It set the scene for Rebirth in order for Rebirth to shine like it has done now. It set up a few plot threads that we were all kind of like, what's going on there? In order so that when we get to Rebirth, it can just absolutely blast us with so many different plot threads and possibilities. It's insane. I'm going to explore it a lot more in the next video, like I say, when we start breaking apart the ending and talking about the ramifications of Rebirth's narrative to not only the next game, whatever that may be called, but just to the whole compilation in general. Because it could have ramifications that are that far-reaching. But overall, like I say, I thought it was amazing. I thought it was exactly the ending that was needed. A few predictions that I made came correct. A few predictions that I made didn't happen. I won't say which now, we'll say it in the next video. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff there. And yeah, there's so much to think about and talk about. So we'll get there. We'll get there. But then I suppose the question becomes, where does Rebirth stand in the Final Fantasy franchise? And if I'm being honest, it's probably the best Final Fantasy since the PS1 era for me. It's probably the best one since Final Fantasy VII, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. It's insane. Now, granted, it's potentially a bit unfair because it is standing on the shoulders of Final Fantasy VII, and it takes a lot of the things that made Final Fantasy VII great and builds upon them, it expands upon them, and it even successfully adds new facets, not just to the gameplay, not just to the characters, but to the world and the narrative as well. It's a phenomenal achievement. It really is a phenomenal achievement. Remake, I had issues with. I thought it was a brilliant game, but I did have some issues with it and where it was going. Rebirth has crushed all of those issues for me. One of the things that I said repeatedly was, I want to see what they've got, I want them to take the ball and run with it, I want them to give us what they want to give us, you know, I want them to just feel unhindered and uninhibited and just do it. And I personally feel like that's what they've done here. Like, Final Fantasy VII's always going to be my favourite game, probably. It'll always be the most impactful game that I have ever played. It completely changed me as a gamer. It just completely changed how I looked at games, the games that I was interested in, everything like that. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth can't touch that. It can't be that impactful. It's impossible for it to be that impactful to me as far as changing me as a gamer. But when people ask what is the best Final Fantasy to play, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth might be it now. And not only might it be it might be it by a considerable distance. If I had to put a number on it, people like numbers, don't they? People all like numbers. I'm giving it at least a 9 out of 10. At least a 9 out of 10. It was insane. It had everything. It has everything. I've still not even done everything. I've still got to go back in and do so much more. There's still going to be little cutscenes and little story moments that I probably haven't noticed. There's so much to do. There's so much to learn. There's so much to experience. You can feel the love coming out of this game. You can feel the energy and the effort that they put into it, just pouring out of every single aspect of this game. It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. I've said that so many times while playing it, like, this is ludicrous. What's going on? How does this exist? And I feel like I'm probably going to be thinking that for quite a while. But I've rambled enough. I have rambled enough. Let me know what you're thinking in the comments below. How do you feel about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? If you had to put a number on it, what number would you put on it? Like I say, I'm probably sitting on a 9 at the minute. And that's pretty high for me. I don't believe a 10 out of 10 exists. That's perfect, and it doesn't exist. So, a 9's stupidly high for me. Let me know what you're thinking. Tell me in the comments below. Keep an eye out in the next couple of days, because we're going to start talking story now. Now that I've got this out of the way, I feel like I've got this off my chest. I reviewed the game, I've talked about it as the game itself. Now we can start delving into the narrative. But I'm going to end now. Thank you very much for watching. It's good to be back. I've missed you all. Like the video, subscribe for future content, but more importantly than anything, have a great day.